Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. Okay, cool. So 251K effective at Borgata.
Yeah. It's going to end up being a river question. The hand goes three-way. The villain 1, who's not important in the game, is a weak station.
Okay.
Villain 2 is a weekend regular. He sporadically gambles, likes to raise, and check raises 2 pairs or better. He pushes draws and bluffs a lot.
Okay.
That's my 10-second
Mm-hmm.
sermon on him. Villain 1, middle position, limps.
Okay.
Main villain 2, on the button, raises to 20, which is really small. So
Yeah,
that
definitely.
suggests a non-premium hand.
Mm-hmm.
I have 10 of diamonds, queen of diamonds in the big blind.
Okay.
Kind of the bottom end of my suited Broadway, so I decided to call and not 3-bet that.
How deep are you guys again?
1,000.
1,000? I mean, yeah, I think that because of what you had said and what you observed about a limp and then a button at 20, that I would be 3-betting this hand quite a bit. You're right, the Queen 10 suited is the worst of the suited Broadways, sure. But I feel like I think I would be 3-betting this hand quite a bit given that scenario. But, I mean, I don't think you're not losing that much by calling. But, again, suited hands, favoring suited hands from out of position, pretty good playability. You know, you can make it you could probably make it 85 or 90 or something like that. But, okay, you call. And then does V1 call too?
Yes, V1 call. So 3 of us see the flop for 60.
Okay.
Flop comes out 10 hearts, queen of spades, king of hearts.
So you flop bottom 2.
Right.
King, queen, 10 with 2 hearts.
Yes.
Okay.
And I decide to check, and I guess first question is what you think about that.
Well, I think it's interesting here because when we look at a board like this, when we're playing it, this is where we have all this configuration type stuff, right? I mean, let's say under the gun raised and under the gun 1 called and you're in the big blind and you complete. I think it would be very proper to play this hand extremely passively, right? Bottom 2
right.
Against tighter ranges, right? Here, you've got a limp. You said villain 1, limps from mid-position or something?
Yeah.
So you get a mid-position limp and a button, what looks to be sort of a bullshit raise. And you call and the other guy calls. So I probably could see leading here, kind of like, again, as a mixture of value and protection. I mean, I guess I've occasionally seen guys like raise on the button with ace-jack off and things like that. My point that I'm trying to tell you, Dave, is that it's obviously going to be a different situation every hand, and I think that this one might favor a lead because of this particular configuration and what you have noticed in the pre-flop action. I think once you start going past that and doing check raises and stuff, you start getting a little bit too out of hand with over-repping your hand, but I could definitely see leading in this configuration, but okay, you checked.
Yeah, I check.
Mm-hmm.
Villain 1 bets 30.
Villain 1, who is not the pre-flop raiser.
Correct.
He bets 30, okay.
Likes to bet whenever check 2. Very stationary.
Even if he's not the pre-flop raiser?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
V2, the main villain calls.
So button calls.
Which, again, is not a premium hand, otherwise he would have raised there.
Uh-huh.
We had 2 pair plus.
Yeah.
I decided to call in game. Thinking about it, I agree I should have been a little more aggressive both pre-flop and on the flop.
Yeah, this one's sort of interesting here when you get a bet and a call. I said that check raising would probably be a little bit of an over-rep. There's a lot of things that can change on the turn, and I don't blame you here for just calling, kind of with like sort of an in-between type of hand and seeing what develops on turn. So you make the call.
150 in the middle.
Yep.
The turn is 6 of clubs, about as blank as you could get.
Okay.
I check, middle position checks, main villain bets 60.
All right. See, now I might, to be perfectly honest with you, now I might bump it up. From what you said about, I mean, I know it sounds crazy and not, you're like, whoa, you're not check raising the flop because you say you don't want to over-rep your hand. And now, Bart, you're saying check raise turn. But the whole hand smells to me like no one really has much here, and you can massage this, and you've definitely got the best hand, and it's rather draw heavy. And that's because we're using the turn action now to our benefit of a donk lead and a call, and then guy who donk led flop now checks turn and button bet 60. Um, that is that seems pretty weak. Now, if you were to like say check raise here and then you got three bet like all in by the button, I think you can actually check raise fold for value. It's a check raise fold for value, but I think I would probably bump this one up to maybe 170, something like that.
Yeah, my thought process in game, which I
Yeah.
don't like, which is why I'm calling this in,
Hmm.
was that I thought that the button was on a lot of draws.
Okay.
I wanted to keep him betting. My plan was to check call,
Hmm.
and if the heart does not come in on the river, to check call his bluff there as well.
So you think he was just bluffing?
Correct.
I don't
I
know.
think
It's
that's a
kind
big.
of seem. I mean,
Yes.
it just kind of
Bingo.
seems like a small bet. Like if he's got a draw, heart draw, is he gonna be betting this small into two people on the turn, or would he be bombing it? I feel like if someone's on a draw and they want to win the pot, they would either bomb it or they would take a free card. It's one thing if the guy from middle position led into the button and they were heads up, and now middle position checked and the guy started bluffing, but you overcalled too in the big blind. So like I'm putting my position. Let me. I'm gonna put myself in your villain two's position on the button. Let's say I had like 5-7 of hearts or something like that, right?
Right.
This action goes down. Am I gonna bet the turn for $60? Do you see what I'm
I
saying?
won.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's either a blast or a check back, and it probably lean towards a check back. So that's why I don't know if this guy's got a draw. But okay, that's what you were thinking in game. So you call.
I call. The
Yep.
river is
And then
probably
what happens to V1?
OP1 folds.
All right, so he didn't have much.
Right.
Yep.
Now there's 270,
Yep.
and the river now brings the queen of hearts.
Okay, so you now make a full house.
Right. And also the flush comes in. So if he
Right.
is on a flush draw, which is what I was thinking,
Yep.
he just made his hand.
Right.
So if he did make his hand, am I check raising there or leading? I thought that if I check raise, he would not call the raise part of the check raise.
Mm-hmm.
But if I led, he would call, most not absurd bets that I would make. So I decided to lead out more than I thought that he would bet.
You think that he's going to bet fold the flush?
That was in game. That was my thought. Yes. Is it correct? Probably not.
I mean, I don't like I said I'm not 100% with you on what he has, but I'm trying to look at the consistency of your logic. If you thought that he was bluffing hearts and now he's made it, what would be the play? If we saw that he had a flush in his hand, let's say he opens his hand, like or somehow you have X-ray vision, right? And he has the nut flush, or he has a flush. I would
Well,
still
not.
think that checking would probably be better than betting because I don't. I think you're probably just going to get a call if you bet, kind of similar to one of the other phone callers that we had earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like if you check and he's got a flush and he bets like 150, you could make it like 375. If you come out and bet, what's your sizing here? Like 175?
I ended up going 190 just to
Okay.
get a little bit better than I thought he would bet.
Mm-hmm.
But if I do check and he bets 150 and I make it 3.25,
Yeah,
is he
350,
calling that
370.
with a non-nut flush on a paired board?
I mean, I don't know who the guy is, but I don't see a lot of people fold for 200 more on a flush, you know?
Uh,
Um, especially if he was bluffing the whole way, but I'm not convinced he has a flush anyways. But anyway, so you bet 190.
he tanks for a long time and,
Uh-huh.
and does throw in the chip and make the call.
Uh-huh.
He tabled ace five of hearts.
Yeah, see, I think so you did have the right. It's sort of such a bizarre bet on the turn. See, I just think that you're going to get a bet call there a lot.
If I knew it was the nut flush, I
Uh-huh.
I would have probably went for the check raise, but
Mhm.
I thought he would full not call a raise on anything that wasn't the nut flush. But again, I could be very wrong there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you're still making some deep assumptions about his range. You ended up being correct about his range, but I feel like if he has flushes on the river, like if we can see he has flushes, I'm going to check raise the river here most of the time because, like I said, you wake up with a bet at the end and you're just going to get called quite a bit, and that's what happened. So,
So probably minimize the whole hand.
I would have check
Um,
raise turn.
yeah, if I just pick it back on the turn and then lead river, I'd probably get about twice as much.
I would have check raise turn, and I would have probably, and maybe it's interesting if you check raise turn and he calls. I still probably, I think at that point you probably just have to bet the river because a lot of flushes will just check back,
Right.
scared. You know what I mean? People don't go for value enough, so I would have check raise turn and bet river, personally.
Yeah. Hindsight, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Thanks for the call. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.